So we're currently at UCAS.com so that we can start our application. We're going to need to create a UCAS ID. We'll need to log into our email to do that. So first thing we're going to do under sign in is create an account. Then we have register. Okay. Once we have our information there, it's going to send a confirmation. And then we just need to log into our email. And here's the confirmation code. Copy that. We go back into our page and we verify ourselves. Okay, now we have created our account and we're going to go through. We need to choose the year that we're starting our application. This is 2024. We're an undergraduate student. We'll skip these buttons down here. We live in Thailand. And we'll skip the spam for now. And it's asking for these numbers, but we don't have to put one here, I believe. I am still at school. Subject I'm interested in, for the sake of this, we'll just say psychology. And we'll leave 2 and 3 blank. Our current school, we'll need to put that in. When I typed Verso International School came up. Clicking that. Yes, I consent to share my data with my center. And we'll create our account. Okay, so now we are in the hub. Once you're logged in as a student to create an application or to do some searching and saving of results, you'll find yourself in that hub. And the first thing at the top here, start an application. So we're about to hit start our application here. And it's just verifying again that we're starting for 2024, an undergraduate. And if I was into music, dance or drama, theater, I could do a conservatory application, but we're going to do the regular standard university application here. Here we go. We are applying from a school. We're not an independent learner or a high school graduate already, so we'll say yes. Buzzwords are created so that accurate student and school information is safe, and it allows the school to send references, etc. on behalf of that student. Yes, that is correct. Every senior currently has the buzzword. Alright, so now we're in the main area of the application where we will continue to go through these sections, and that is until we are all done. So the first thing it's asked us to do is add our choices. The choices are the schools or the specific courses that we're going to apply for. So we can add our choice. We know we're doing psychology. We need to know which schools. So we can assume that we've already chosen the schools that we're going to apply for. So I'm going to pick a few that I know of to put into our, and this code should be very similar across the psychology courses, although there's all these different ones here. But we're going to just choose this one, C800. Main site is going to be the option for most of them, and our start date is September 24. Yep. These other options are what year in school you want to start at. The first year is what our high school graduates should choose unless they know they're going to do a foundation year. We will not be living at home. And that is what we'll do for each of these. We'll add one more just to show you how it could be different at different places. Let's save that. Okay. So now it knows that our application will go to this particular school. Let's add one more. let's try to add a school that has already passed its application deadline. Their application deadline was the 15th of October. It's the same one, C800, although they do have these words added onto it, the whichever choice. It should actually stop us from applying here, but it may not recognize it. It's telling us that Cambridge has assessments that are required and a potential interview if we make it that far. So that's good to know. So we can say that we're only going to apply to these, although you do get 5 options within a UCAS application. So now let's get into our personal details. I'll use our school's address, etc. So I'm just going to pull up the school's website here so I can copy that over when I need to. Just use regular Mr. here. It's already pre-populated my name from the application creation of the account. Anything that is not starred, potentially you could skip. Okay, so we're just going to put in a date of birth. We're going to put in the chosen gender, and we need to make sure we mark our sections complete so that it saves as finished. And that is done. And then we would move on to the next section by clicking down here, or you can use the tabs on the side. And we see a check here because we have done it correctly. So here we could add a number, but it's not required, so we won't do that. But you could just type in whatever you feel, and it might format it for you. So this is a non-UK address, and again, this is where we loaded up our address here so that we could drop it in, cut and paste. So they say 50 character max, so we'll add this into the second line. Take away the punctuation just in case it has a problem with that. Okay, moving right along. We don't need someone as nominated access. This allows someone to log into your account essentially, but we don't want that. Students should have the privacy for that. And then as their counselor, I can sit next to them and they could log in and I could see what they see. It is my home address, yes. Same as my postal address. So I live in Thailand, but if your permanent residence was in another country, you would put that there. And I am a non-EU and non-UK citizen. Other. And that's it. Now we'll use the button at the bottom, moving on to nationality. We'll just, for the sake of simplicity, say that we are Thai, but you would put your child specifically, would put their own information. The date of entry would be, if you've never been to the UK, about the same month of when your school will start. We're choosing September starting, so we'll just say August 1st, or August 1st here of 2024 for classes that would start in either August or September. We're choosing what our passport is, so we'll just stick with Thai. If you have more than one, you could add it here. We will need a student visa. We have not studied before. A Tier 4 is the student visa for university study in the UK. And we don't have any settlement status in the UK. We do currently have a passport. We'll just use that and we'll say that we got it in Thailand. Okay, so that's another section done. We're moving right along. It's asking us if we've ever worked in the EU. Nope. Do we have any parent, step-parent, spouse, civil partners who's an EU national? No. But if we did, you could just say yes, or you could say prefer not to say. And that's saved. Here's where, if we've taken English language testing, we can adjust this and add in information. If we say no to the question of, is English your first language, you'll need to put in one of these 2 exams here, unless you're giving something directly to a university. If you say yes, it's my native language, you don't need to worry about that. Most students will have taken either an IELTS or a TOEFL, and they would put in their registration number in this section. But because I'm not going to put something here, I'll just say it is for now. That will allow the universities to recognize your English abilities and move on in the application components. On to finances. Self is the answer, private finance. If you're a family, that's going to be paying for your student studies or your own studies. The others are options if you were getting some sort of government scholarship or some private money in some kind of way. You could also say other or not known, but private finance is the most common answer here. So this is a place where you might be able to put in a short answer to tell your universities that you have certain needs. And again, they try to reiterate here, we want to reassure you this information is confidential and will not negatively impact your application. But if you do need some kind of support, if you're on an individualized learning plan of some sort, you want that to continue on at your university, this isn't the only time where you could tell them, but this is a safe place for you to put in if you have a physical or other type of diagnosed conditions. And here are some of those options here. A mental health condition, a visual impairment, a physical disability, etc. So if you had one, you would click here and it would give you an opportunity to type in whatever you wanted to. For the sake of ease, we'll just say none. Universities want that information so that they could provide you the best support. Now this section can take a little bit of time depending on your high school history. If you've been to multiple schools, you'll need to add them. The first thing we're going to do is add in our school. So now we have added our school, and our end date, we'll just say June of 2024. Full-time student. We will have qualifications. Our U.S. high school diploma from WASC is one, and if we've done some AP tests, you can also add those. So we've just added our school, added our start and end date, the type of student we are, and what qualifications will come up next. And then it shows our school. If you were only here for the last 2 years, or you're a new student this year, you would just find your other school listed and do exactly what you did up here. This is going to be below honors. This means high school, essentially, and these are more university qualifications, or if you don't have any qualifications, that's not us, but you would choose that. So we'll choose below honors for our highest level. And we don't have one of these because we don't study in the UK currently. So it won't let us save until we add our qualifications because we mentioned we will have some. So the button at the top here adds our qualifications. Yes, we've already saved the others. These are defaulted, so a counselor can add or take away some of these. So when I worked at an IB school, I had the MYP up here, I had others. These are obviously catered to more of a British system. But we'll just go down to the list and we'll type in advanced. And there is advanced placement tests. So I'll say I took AP Psychology. Probably just type psychology there because we've already said it's an AP test. I'll say that I took it last year in May of 2023, last school year, and I got a 5. Lucky me. We're going to save and add one more. Now let's say I took AP Calculus. And I'm taking that this year. That would be pending. So I have to say pending. And that's enough for now. And then they show up underneath at Verso International School. I've taken these exams. Now I'm also going to add in a qualification that's not AP, I want to add in our high school diploma. So we're going to scroll down here, and we'll just say USA because they chose USA as how they defined AP. These are different tests. The SAT is here. They have a 2-year college degree. We're going to click high school graduation diploma. And we're going to get that in June. That's pending. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. If a school ever asks, we can send the high school transcript. In the UK, they typically don't ask. And that should be the end of our education statement. Yep, that's it. So that's that section done. We're moving right along. Moving to employment. If you've never had a job, you don't have to put one here. If you've done internships, paid or unpaid, if you wanted to, you could, but you could leave this blank for now. This is more for paid jobs. You could see what it looks like when you click into it. You would put the name of the place, your title or your job role, and then the address. When did you start? When did you finish? Full-time or part-time. Most students in high school haven't worked, but great if you have, you can add it there. So one of the last sections for a student to do is to paste in a personal statement. There's lots of support on how to create a personal statement. The personal statements in the UK are more centered on your qualifications or work that you've done related to the topic you're about to apply for. So mine was psychology. I might write about a research project I've done within my AP psychology course, or my Vertex project, like an extended essay in an IB style. I would say I've been going to psychology clubs, or I've been doing research on my own. I've been working in a mental health clinic, just doing volunteer work, and you would fill that in here. There we go. Mark it complete and save. And that is everything done. So we have our choices, our profile is 100% complete, our personal statement is done. The next step is just to review each section and pay for it, and then the school gets it. So unlike an application where in America you pay and then it goes to the universities, in the UCAS, if you're connected to a center like we are, you will have your application sent to your school. So the counselor will get your application. The counselor will view it, make sure everything is correct, and then add in the reference. The reference is from usually a subject teacher or a combination from each of the subject teachers related to how well that student is prepared to study at their particular course. So, for instance, mine was psychology at a UK university. When that is pasted in, there may be some pending grades or anticipated grades depending on one's curriculum. IB has the IB predicted grades. AP doesn't really have those. But if a school wanted them, they would contact and we could send that. This is our UCAS number. Every application gets one, so I would send this to my counselor, and then any reference in an email would be using this number so that the universities would be able to identify them. This gives us the ability to kind of print preview. You could download it as a PDF, or you could just scroll through the whole application we just created, and then we would proceed. Right. So now it's getting more spam. We want to make sure our preferences are no, no, no. Accept and proceed. Okay, so now it's going to tell us what's going to happen after we send this off. The colleges are going to get this. We want to make sure that everything is kind of an honor statement. If your personal statement includes material we reasonably consider have been copied, they have a plagiarism checker, allegedly, that they run everything through to make sure that it's accurate or not used before, and that your financial information is safe. Now, this is as far as we're going to go today because I am not going to spend 27 pounds to submit a fake application. Maybe if I was in a different place in my life, I might be able to do that. But essentially, it'll just take you to your credit card verification. Here they mentioned Visa, MasterCard. They don't do American Express, the Diners Club. Okay, that is every section of the UCAS application